Welcome to Money Through Ease, the podcast that helps small business owners overcome limiting beliefs and take control of their financial agency. I'm your host, Reagan Beshara, founder of All Ease Accounting. Join us as we explore ways to empower yourself and achieve financial success with ease. Hello, everybody. We are almost in May. And so the date that this podcast episode will be released will be a couple of days before my 1-year business anniversary. So I founded All Ease Accounting. May 1st is the official start date, 2022, for my business. And I am so excited to talk with you today and reflect on the past year of running a small business. My first time doing that. Not my first time in an understanding of what it is to run a small business, because I have often been the person in the bleachers cheering on my clients, being in the position to where I have the privilege to look at a lot of small businesses' financial reports over the years. Because I'm an accountant, and because I'm an accountant for small business owners, I have had the pleasure and the privilege to see how other people run their business, see the kinds of results that they get when they implement different strategies, see exactly what goes on behind the scenes, witness their pain and frustration and fears and anxieties and joy and pleasure and success and all of that good stuff. Like, I have been in the bleachers for many years, observing and witnessing and cheering on, but for the past year, I have been the one on the field, playing in the game, running my own business, trying things out, some of which didn't work, some of which did, and I'm still here to talk about it. And I am so happy that I've made it this far, and I'm so proud of myself. And I think the thing that I want to talk about today is appreciation. This is something that I'm going to focus on rather than trying to focus on whether or not I succeed or fail at something, but appreciating the steps that I took along the way to try to get where I want to be. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is appreciation. And the funny thing about this word is that there are two different definitions of this, right? There are technically quite a few, but I think let's talk about appreciation in the relationship kind of sense, or what kind of relationship you have to the thing that you're appreciating. And that can be another person, that can be something tangible, something in the physical world that you appreciate. It can be an act of service that someone else has done for you and you appreciate that act. It can be appreciating the relationship that you have between you and another person, or you and another thing. And so it could be an intangible thing in that way. So that's one definition of appreciation. And then the second definition of appreciation in the accounting world is that when something appreciates, it actually increases in monetary value. So what does that mean? When we have something in our life, in our business, that is something that appreciates in value, that means that over time, the value of that thing, if you were to turn around at any moment and sell that thing to somebody else, the value would be higher. Like, the money that you would get for selling the thing would be more than the money you paid to get the thing in the past. So for your house, for instance, when you purchase a home, hopefully you're also purchasing the land underneath the house, right? And you have mineral rights to that and all of that good stuff. But the actual building, on the property, hard, wood and the foundation and all of the things inside of the building may depreciate in value, meaning that the value of those things goes down over time because wear and tear on those materials, whatever reason. But on the bookkeeping and on the taxes, if you are claiming a building, if you're claiming property on your taxes, we separate out what the land value is, the ground that the property has contained within it, and then the building. We separate those two things out because buildings depreciate, but land does not. It retains its value, right? So, in general, most of the time. So when something appreciates in value, That means that at the time that you are the owner of something, at the time that you hold something as an asset, you paid this much for it. And then at the time that you're looking at what the value is down the road, maybe a couple of years later, maybe you're going to sell it, the money that somebody else would pay for that thing, for that asset, has gone up. So the value appreciates. So that is what appreciation means in accounting speak, in the accounting world. So I want to talk today on this episode about connecting those two ideas, those two definitions of appreciation or appreciate, and how it relates to me running a business. I have been working for some time with a business coach, and we've really been driving into this idea that I have a big problem with things being uncertain in my life and things being uncertain in my business. And that causes a lot of anxiety for me. It is not fun. So we've been really drilling into that idea that running a small business is uncertain. But if you think about it, it's not any more uncertain what's going to happen in the future in a small business than it is if you are an employee in somebody else's business. There is always the possibility that you could get laid off, that you could be part of a quote unquote reduction in the workforce. And so it doesn't matter where you're working or what you're doing. Nobody can accurately and with 100% certainty predict the future. None of us can do that. And humans have a hard time with that concept. We really struggle with that because what does that mean if we don't know what's going to happen in the future about us now? What does that mean about us now that we're like, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, you know? The concept of uncertainty is really an uncomfortable thing for humans to sit with most of the time, unless you practice like being okay with that. And that is what I have been digging into in my coaching and in reflecting on my business over the past year. So when I started my business, last May, I knew that I would have a couple of clients to start with, and I knew that I was going to do whatever it took to make sure that I grew my business to where it can provide me with an income, to where I could sustain my life the way I live it now. And I have been able to do that for the most part. It's been uncomfortable most of the time. But in the beginning, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know where this thing is going to go, but I know that I am smart, that I'm capable, that I can figure it out. I know that I'm willing to do what it takes to be successful and to achieve this thing that I want. And so, like, no matter what, I was like willing to try all sorts of different things, keep trying them, really put in the effort over and over and over again, maybe whittle away the things that aren't working, maybe try some new things that could possibly work, and to just keep going, right? To just keep putting that one foot in front of the other, keep taking those steps until I get to where I want to be. Like, I'm willing to do that. But since we can't tell what the future holds, and oftentimes we're just speaking into the ether and we're, putting out content, and I have an email list and I send out emails and I, try to engage my network and let people know like what I'm doing so that when somebody says, I need a bookkeeper, I need help with QuickBooks, etc., they know to like throw my name in the ring, right? And I know that like clients will come. I know that I will make more money. I know that I am going to grow my business because I am right now, like it is growing. But the uncertainty sometimes is a little too much to bear, and that's okay. So instead of trying to focus so much on like, when is my next client coming? When am I going to reach my money goals? When am I going to have the kind of platform and audience that I want to have to like be able to do the things that I want to do in my business? Like all of those things, all of those questions were just rattling around in my brain all the time, and it was causing me a lot of anxiety. And then I'm taking those questions and I'm looking back on all the work that I've done in my business, in my marketing, in my selling and making offers to people, in the work that I do with my current clients, the work that I've done with previous clients. I took all those questions about when is the next thing coming, and I was like using that against all of the actions that I've already taken in my business. And I was beating myself up and saying like, see, because we don't know when the next client is coming, all this stuff that I did in the past is bad. It's not good enough. It wasn't enough work. Like I didn't take enough action. I didn't leverage things the right way. I didn't run enough ads. I didn't do this and blah, 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 blah. So I was making the uncertainty of the future mean that I had done something wrong in the past, or I hadn't done enough, or my work that I had done wasn't good enough. And so it was just like this cycle that like I was using against myself. And that's, if you if you know anything about like mindset work, you'll know that like that sort of thinking and asking those types of questions, that is the way that we like beat ourselves up about not doing enough or not being good enough. That's like a circular thing that we wind up with the same result. We wind up in the same place of like, I don't know, I'm just doing stuff and it's not working. I don't know, I'm just doing stuff and it's not working, month after month. So I knew that I needed to stop that and like just stop. And so that's what I've been working on, is maybe being okay with the idea that things have always been uncertain about the future. It's like, that's just how it is. And that there is a level of uncertainty. There is a level of not knowing that you kind of have to be okay with and still do the things that you need to do anyways. Still work towards those goals, still try to make something out of nothing in order to get where you need to be. This is something that this is kind of how I turned it around really recently. I want to share that. So the idea that I have in my head that like I'm going to reach the certain number of like monthly clients that I have worked with on a regular basis, or I'm going to reach a certain amount of revenue in my business by a certain date. And so I have these like goals that I want to meet. The way that I imagine myself, like how I experience that moment when I like meet the revenue goal, when I meet the number of clients that I want to have every month, when I meet those targets, I imagine myself being like, wow, like I'm so proud of myself that I fucking did that, right? Because I know ahead of time that I'm like going towards these goals so that I can tell myself like, I'm so proud of myself. I did an amazing job. Look how awesome I am to like build my business to where I wanted it to be. And like, I did all the hard work and, shifted all the mindset that I needed to shift. But the end goal is not even about the money or the number of clients. It's so that I can feel proud of myself. Attention podcast listeners. Are you tired of spending countless hours managing your bookkeeping? Not sure why your profit and loss shows way more money than is in your bank account? Let me help you. Book a complimentary consultation today and I will evaluate your bookkeeping needs. I have over 8 years of bookkeeping experience with small business owners just like you. I provide tailored solutions to make your life easier. Don't wait. Book a consultation now and take the first step towards financial success. What I'm doing, and I talked about this in the Hating Your Money Goal episode of Money Threes. You can scroll back in the podcast feed and listen to that episode, Hating Your Money Goal. And what I know is that pride is, first of all, I don't believe that like in the whole moralistic thing about pride. Like it's okay to feel proud of yourself. I want you to know that it's not like egotistical to be proud of the work that you've already done. So I have no problem wanting to feel proud of myself. And I need to remember that like, that's a feeling, that's something that I can tell myself now. I can tell myself I'm like really proud of the work that I've done now. Once I remind myself of that I have the availability, like I don't have to withhold pride from myself right now until I meet a goal. I can be proud of the work that I've already done. Once I remember that, then I can look back on the past year of running my business and say, damn, like I'm so proud of the work that I've done. And in the past year, the scariest thing that I did was start the business to begin with. And that was the first step. That was me quitting my job of 7 years and choosing to come out and say, hey, I'm starting my own business, and choosing to ask my clients to come with me in that journey. And I had a few people come with me, and I'm so grateful to them. But the word that we're going to come back to is appreciation, because the way that I give myself that credit right now is to appreciate all of the steps that I've taken so far and to be proud of all of that work. I look back and I am so grateful that I did the scary thing, I did the hard thing, and I quit my job and I started a business. And for a while, like probably for about a month, So the entire month of May last year, it was like me playing video games for like 12 hours a day. Because I was like dealing with so much anxiety and uncertainty and just fear that I was like trying to escape that constantly. So like after the first month, it's like, okay, we're going to get serious now and we're going to like actively try to market. And then throughout the year, throughout 2022, like it just increased from there. I just kept taking the steps that I needed to take, and I slowly stopped doing all the things to distract myself from that fear and anxiety. I did the hard thing. I quit my job. I started a business. I let other people know that I started a business because I see this happen with a lot of people, and I did the same thing. Is that like for a while you like hide yourself even though you're like, I want people to hire me. Or maybe you sell products and you're like, oh man, I really need people to like buy my stuff. But you're not even aware of how much like it takes to get out and tell other people what you're doing, and to overcome that, whatever that is that's holding you back from doing that. That takes a lot of work. To constantly talk about yourself, to constantly talk about what you're doing and how you want people to hire you, how you want people to buy your stuff, how you want to grow your business. It takes a while to get good at talking about that consistently and to keep showing up even when you think nobody's watching, even when nobody's responding to you, even when people are telling you no. The gumption that it takes to keep going in spite of all that, you have to build up to that. Most of us are not wired or trained or educated on how to do that and to keep showing up even when it looks like nobody's watching. It looks like nobody's responding, but they are. So it's okay. So it took me a while to get to that point, like pretty much all of last year. And I didn't even start the podcast until November. And that was something that I had wanted to do since day -1. Like I have wanted to do a podcast for a couple of years. And it took 6 months into my business to finally release my introduction episode where I'm like, hey, this is me and what I'm doing. It's just so much space in between that you have to be intentional about what you're doing, but you have to like practice that over and over until it becomes second nature. And I appreciate so much the person that I was a year ago that was still kind of hiding, even though she was like, I need people to hire me. Here's what I'm doing. Please, someone, for the love of God, hire me. And at the same time, trying to hide because she was afraid of what other people would think about her. So I have a lot of appreciation for that person. And I am not the same person that I was a year ago. I hope to God that like every year when I revisit my business anniversary, that I am a completely different person, because the goals that I want to get to, the stuff that I want to do in my business and in my life, it's going to take me becoming a different person. So I hope May 1st, 2024, that I am a different person. So hello, Reagan from the future, if you're listening to this. Nice to meet you. So yeah, I want to focus on that word appreciate, because I appreciate who I was in that moment and how scared I was, and that I chose to do it anyways, and that I chose to commit to myself. I chose to commit to a business. I chose to commit to my clients. And then I kept doing that. I just kept committing over and over and over again. And I appreciate that person who was willing to do that so that I could get to where I need to be now. And I appreciate every single person that has worked with me over the past year. I truly do appreciate y'all. I love you. Like, it means so much that you trusted me with very precious material, very precious stuff that is inducing a lot of emotions for people. When we talk about finances, when we talk about money, a lot of people have different emotions about that. And I appreciate that the people that decided to work with me trusted me and were like, yeah, I'm going to give it a shot with you because I think you can help me. And I think I did help them. So I appreciate my clients. I appreciate my husband, who has been so patient with me and so patient with my business, because I'm not at the point that I want to be at in terms of income, but it's okay. And honestly, he should appreciate me because he got laid off in 2020 at the height of COVID. And for the longest time, I was the one supporting our household for the most part. He works full time now and he's making more money than either of us have ever made. I'm glad that he's here being patient with me while I go through this transition period and to get where I want to be. And I did the same thing for him and I would do it again. Like, that's the kind of partnership we have. So I appreciate my husband. I appreciate my family who has listened to me, who has been there every step of the way to support me. And honestly, sometimes you just need people to witness the shit that you're going through, and that is enough. And that has been enough for my family. So thank you for that. But I want to also talk about appreciation in the financial sense, because I have made money the past year. I didn't set a goal for my first 12 months in business, but I did make a good amount of money, and I appreciate all the money that I've made. But here's the thing. Not only am I turning around and saying yeah, I appreciate the money that I made, but that money that I made is going to appreciate because it has supported me. It has been reinvested in my business. I have invested money into systems, processes, software, coaching, professional services, continuing education. The money that I've made is going to appreciate financially because it has supported my growth and will continue to. Investing in yourself, into your mind, into your business, into the systems that you do. The money that I made in the past 12 months is going to appreciate in that way as well. All of the work that I've done. It's not just about the money. It's about my mindset growth. It's about me becoming a new person, like I've talked about. That work that I've done on myself as a person, on my mindset, all of that is going to appreciate as well because it all builds on top of itself, right? If you think about the way we learn math in school, you learn, first of all, what the fucking number is. You learn how to count and how numbers represent a number. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to say this. A number represents counting, right? So that's the basic thing that you learn. I have one apple. I add another apple. I have two apples. You learn how to count and how numbers represent things in our world. And then on top of that, you learn simple addition, subtraction. If I put more apples into a basket, I'm adding. It's an addition thing, and we can use that representation with numbers. If I take apples out of the basket, I'm subtracting from the total amount of apples. So you have to have the basis understanding of numbers and counting in order to do addition and subtraction. You have to have the basis of addition to do multiplication and then division. And then on top of that, all the way up to calculus. But it's always building on top of those foundations. And so I'm looking at this the same way in my business and my mindset about how the mindset work that I've done, the growth that I've had personally over the last year is the foundation that I've laid for my business to be successful. And that is learning how to be kind to myself, to have compassion, to have appreciation for the work that I've already done. And then that foundation, the work that I do in the future is going to build on top of that. So the foundational work that I've done in the first 12 months of my business is going to appreciate in value to me because I'm building on top of that. It is going to increase value. It's going to grow because I'm going to be growing, but that foundation had to be set first. So that is the mood, the word that I'm focusing on and that I'm bringing into my next 12 months of business is appreciation. And both in the way that I can actively appreciate all the work that I've done, the progress that I've made. Appreciation is an action that I can take when I look back and just appreciate how far I've come and to give myself that credit and that recognition and have pride in the work that I've done already. And then appreciation also in that the investments that I've made into my business and myself, the money that I've made that allowed me to make those investments, and then the mindset work, the foundation, the first 12 months of my business, the work that I did personally to become a new person is going to appreciate. All of that is going to appreciate in value. It's going to grow in value over time. And so that is what I am reflecting on for my first 12 months running a small business for the first time ever. And if you are here with me on this journey, if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. And if you have been here since I dropped the first episode, that's amazing. And thank you. I appreciate all of you who listen and support me. Yeah, so I appreciate everybody and everything. There's that moment, I think it's in Step Brothers, where Will Ferrell is like, everybody love everybody. And I'm just like, everybody appreciate everything right now. That's how I feel. If you are enjoying this podcast and if you've been here for any amount of time, please subscribe to this podcast on your preferred platform where you listen. Please leave me a rating or a review if you're listening on like Apple or Google Podcasts. And then come follow me on social media and get on my email list because we're just getting started. We were just revving up the past 12 months. We are hitting a nice speed. We are also still accelerating, and we're going to do some great shit in the world. We're going to do some awesome things. And I think the past couple of episodes, I've really been reflecting on like where I've come from. And so now we're just going to tie it all up with a nice bow. The past few episodes have been like about my story, about my values, the kind of company culture I want to have in my business, because of things that have happened in my past. And so we are wrapping all that up by saying, I appreciate all of the things that happened that made me who I am today. I appreciate all of the challenges that I have been faced with. I appreciate all the work that I've done, and all of that will continue to appreciate and value as we move forward. So, thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome weekend if you're listening to this on Friday, April 28th. May 1st is my business 1-year anniversary, so please come wish me a happy anniversary on social media or something. That would be amazing to know that you're listening. I love you all. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Money Through Ease. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to my email list to stay up to date on all the latest content. You can also follow me on social media at All Ease Accounting or facebook.com/accounting with ease for even more insights and updates. And if you're interested in learning more about my bookkeeping services, don't hesitate to schedule a complimentary consult today. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.